A lot of ums on that one.
All right, it is 9:33. We're going to call this meeting to order. We'll start with the reading of the preamble.
Thank you. Good morning, my name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I will read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, January 6th. In compliance with notification requirements of city's open meeting law and section 101.021, the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located in the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak in our particular case via our website's email. All requests to speak in a particular matter have been considered. We've also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. We will now do the roll call, please.
Sure. Ms. Roca? Present. Ms. Holzer?
Present.
Mr. Madison?
Present.
Ms. Bates will be absent this morning. And Ms. Wilson.
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum with 4 members. I should announce to the appellants that with 4 members, you run the risk of a tied vote in case of a in the case of a motion. If there is a tied vote, then the variance is denied. The decision of building and housing remains unchanged. So at this time, if the appellants would like to request a postponement to a future date when we would have the 5 members, they can do so.
Any appellates online wishing to postpone? All right, hearing none, we will assume everyone wants to move forward. Do we have any postponements or other withdrawals?
No, we do not.
Okay, we're moving forward with the first case.
Well, Madam Chair, regarding that first case, I don't see Mr. Began online. We were going to bump that one to the front
Okay.
due to the documents we've received.
Mhm.
So if I guess we'll go ahead and start with the actual first case, just to let you know
Okay.
that we will take them in the order in which they are listed on the agenda.
Okay, should we reach out to Mr. Began? Does he know to?
Let's give him a few more minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, hello.
Oh,
Hello, this
Hi.
is Susan Broadwater with Beacon Architecture.
oh, we do have someone here. Okay,
All right.
perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Paula's hopping on right now.
Okay, that sounds good. We will go ahead and read the case in so that we can get started with that one. But first, we'll start with the rules of the hearing. We'll go to Mr. Madison, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For today's order of the hearing, descriptions of the case will be read into the record. Any person wishing to speak on the matter will be sworn in. History of the property will be read into the record, followed by the legal standard. From that point, the project team will be able to present their proposal. Board members will have the opportunity to ask questions. Those in favor of the project will have the opportunity to speak, followed by those in opposition of the project. We'll also have the opportunity to share. The secretary will read any written correspondence. For the record, City Planning Commission will also give their recommendations. Council members, if present, will give opportunities for their recommendations as well. Project team may respond to any comments made by other parties. Board members may ask additional questions or suggestions. And following those particular conditions, motions will be made and seconded, followed by the roll call by the secretary. Thank you, Madam Chair. Anytime during the point of the proceeding, we can implement a 2-minute limit just to make sure that time is being enforced. Please speak clearly for the record so our court reporter can hear you and record one voice at a time. Do not speak unless recognized by the chair. Please raise your hand, especially if you are on the online and tuning in that way. All conversations must be directed to go through the chair. This is not a back and forth conversation between parties. And please hold your comments until the speaker is done speaking. With that, I'll turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Board Member Madison. We will go ahead and read the first case into the record. We're actually gonna start with case number 24-162. And then over to the board.
Sounds good. Our first case is calendar number 24-162. This is at 865 Jefferson Avenue. Tim McDonough, owner, proposes to erect a 4-story frame, 2-family residence with attached garage in a C1 general retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3. This case was postponed on December 2nd at the request of the appellant to allow for a full board to be present. Do you want me, should I read the rest of the history or the postponement history? Okay.
Yeah.
On October 7th, this board granted a variance with the condition that the appellant provide a written parking agreement with the nearby property owner. The appellant is now stating that a written agreement was not. The appellant previously stated that a written agreement was not attainable and wanted to acquire approval without it. A parking agreement has since been submitted. With that, I'll hand it over to Ms. Rocca-Bouillot.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I am swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state I do, state your name and spell your name. And I'll go to Ms. Broadwater first since we know she's on the call.
Yes, hello. Susan Broadwater, Broad Water, with Beacon Architecture, 15703 Madison Avenue.
And do you swear?
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else on the call?
I do. Paul Began, Began Architectural Design, 15703 Madison Avenue.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak today in this case? All right, I think covered everyone. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rocca. Do we want to read legal and history, or do we want to just accept the testimony?
We could read the legal,
Wanna do
that would be all right, and then I can get the history. I believe that might be all that you'll need to this case.
Okay, all right, well, I'll turn it to you for the history.
Mary is.
online.
Are you at history or legal? Okay. Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the accessory attached garage, maximum gross floor area, minimum lot area, and required rear yard requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. And we'll now turn it over to the project team to tell us about their proposal.
Madam Chair, if you would like, could I jump in with
Yeah,
the
please.
history?
Oh, history, yes.
Right, so, this case was heard on October 7th, 2024. This board granted the area variances conditionally pending a parking agreement and a new cut sheet showing that the garage door will reflect the historic look of the Tremont neighborhood. We did receive that cut sheet, and you all have been given a copy of that. However, on November 1st, the applicant contacted us and stated that he was having some difficulty acquiring the parking agreement. So this board granted a rehearing to allow that information to be presented to the public again. So we held that hearing on December 2nd. But at that time, we only had 4 members and the appellant requested a postponement to a future date. And since that time, December 2nd, the appellant has acquired a parking agreement that you've also been given. So It is up to you, Madam Chair, if you would like to take more testimony from the appellant, but I believe that we have enough for you to ratify it today. I don't have the resolution written, so if you want to hold it until next Monday so that you can see the resolution, we can do that as well.
Okay, and should we take a vote on the recommendation?
Sure.
Okay, let's do that.
All right, this will be ratifying calendar number 24-162 at 865 Jefferson Avenue. Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
So calendar number 24-162 is ratified. The variance will be ready for pickup next Wednesday. The appellant can contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. Have a great day. All right, we will move on to our next case. We'll go to the top of the agenda. Looks like the first case we have is BDA 24-211. I'll turn it over to you to read that case.
Great. Our next case is calendar number 24-211. This is at 731 East 126th Street. It's an administrative appeal. Marsha Brenson, owner, appeals under the authority of section 76-6 of the Charter of the City of Cleveland and section 329.02D of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances from the decision of the hearing officer on November 11, 2024 to deny Ms. Brenson's appeal from the Waste Collection Division's invoice number WC 406-26145. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I am swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state I do, state your name and spell your name and provide your address. Ms. Brenston, we'll go to you with your hand raised.
Marcia Brenson, Marcia Brenton. The address is 731 East 126th Street.
And do you swear?
I swear, yes.
Thank you. And Mr. James, we'll go to you.
Yes, I do. James Richards.
And please spell your name and state your address.
JamesRichards. My address is 5600 Carnegie Avenue.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in this matter? I'm not seeing any hands raised, so I will turn it back to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now move forward with history of property, please.
Madam Chair, since this is an administrative decision, there will be no history on this case.
Okay, let's move to the legal standard then, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is appealing an administrative decision of the hearing officer to uphold a waste collection division invoice. The standard of review is whether the administrative decision was illegal, arbitrary, capricious, unreasonable, or unsupported by the preponderance of substantial, reliable, and probative evidence. If the appellant fails to meet this burden, the administrative decision must be affirmed.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's hear from Ms. Brinson. What would you like to say, ma'am?
Well, I just had acquired this property back in August, okay? And I had no idea that the people that were moving out were gonna put all this stuff on the curb. And when I reached back out to the people who used to live here, I asked them, why did they put all that stuff out there like that? And they said that the city has always taken anything that they put on the curb. So, I mean, I was blindsided with this. Like I said, I had just purchased this property to help out a friend because they were losing the property. And then I'm hit with a $350 ticket when I had no control, didn't know that they were going to put all that stuff out there because when I acquired the property, I have a truck. So I had taken a ton of stuff to the dump. So if they had told me that, I would have took this stuff to the dump.
Okay, does that conclude your remarks?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll now move to you, Mr. James Richards. What would you like to say?
We were just following, ordinance 55111A. It's more than 3 items on bulk weed. Even though it was bulk weed, it's more than 3 items. That's why the violation was issued.
Okay, and you said you were following which ordinance?
551.111A.
Got it. Okay, any further comment from you, Mr. Richards?
No.
All right. Any questions from the board? All right, if there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I actually do have one question.
Okay,
With respect to the fine, the board, we do have jurisdiction to reduce the fine.
That's correct.
And are there any parameters on which we can do so?
I'm not aware of any parameters such as, are you considering something like a percentage or something like that? There are no limits on that.
Okay. Just give me a second here.
Madam Chair, I do have a question,
please.
just to follow up on the question that was just asked. So when we say reduce the fine, does that also entail us going down to 0, or is it just a limitation on a certain amount?
Yes, Madam Chair, to Board Member Madison. We have in the past dismissed the fines altogether if you find good cause.
And then, Madam Chair, through you, does this particular case also require a hardship to be mentioned as well?
Madam Chair, could we ask Mr. Vay to put the legal standard back? There we go.
Madam Chair, I'm prepared to make a motion to put ready for that.
Okay, any other questions from the board? All right, I'll move to the motion, please.
Madam Chair, I move that we uphold the city's administrative decision in calendar number BZA 24-211 and reduce the fine to the appellant to $50.
Okay, do I have a second on that motion, please?
Board Member Holzer, a second.
Okay, let's call the roll.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
So calendar number 24-211 is a conditional approval of sorts. We acknowledge that the city was not arbitrary in their decision, but found good cause to reduce the fine to $50. This decision will be ratified next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter. She can contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Ms. Brinson, Mr. Richards, you are free to go. The case is now concluded. Thank you so much for being here. We're gonna move now to calendar number 24-219.
Our next case is calendar number 24-219. This is at 10134 Namford Avenue. BLV Properties 1 LLC owner proposes to change use of a 2-family residence to a 3-family residence in a B1 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for review.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'm swearing in to all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and provide your address. I'll start with you, Mr. Bryan. I see your hand up.
Awesome. I do. Brandon Bryant, BRANDON BRYANT 10134 Namford. It should be Namford Road. Sorry, I'm not sure if it's Namford Ave. I see it up there, but it should be Namford Road.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else on the call who would wish to speak today? Do we see any hands up, Fabian?
I do not see any hands.
All right. Hearing no other individuals and seeing no hands up, I'll hand it back to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll turn it to you, Secretary, for the reading of history.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And for the record, we will be sure to correct that mistake on the description of this case.
Okay.
We do see that on the notice of nonconformance that was issued by Building and Housing, it did reference the address as Namford Road. So we'll be sure that that is correct on the resolution. Madam Chair, there's been no change in this zoning district since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1915, a permit was issued to erect a two-story dwelling. 1921, there were porch alterations to the property, and in 1924, a permit was issued to erect a garage addition. 1971, a permit was issued to demolish a garage on site and to erect a new garage. There are no variances on file for this address, and we do see that in February 15th of 2023, a lead safe certificate was issued to the property at that time, and the status as of 10/30/24 is inactive. And that's all that I have that's relevant. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll now move to the legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the minimum required lot area, the maximum gross floor area, and the parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that the denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Bryant, we'll now turn it over to you. Can you please tell us about your project?
Yes. So bought the house in 2021. Didn't do any alterations. The house is, as mentioned, zoned as a 2-family, but it essentially has 3 units. When I bought it, they called the 3rd unit a bonus space, and just looking to kind of like legalize the 3rd unit. All 3 units are separated. There's 2 staircases, so egress is adequate. I do rent out the 1st and 2nd floor, and I tend to just stay in the 3rd floor myself when I'm in Cleveland, and reached out to an architect to kind of just like get all the details and drawings together, just to show that house is essentially built as a 3 unit. It just has never been zoned, and wanted to see with those drawings if this could get approved.
Okay, any questions from the board based on that presentation?
Madam Chair, I just would like the appellant to speak to the parking variance that is needed.
Yes. Is that the parking variance? Is that supposed to be in the driveway or just on the street?
So you are required to furnish 1 parking space for each unit. Can you talk to us about how many parking spaces you have?
Yes. So we have a garage that has 2 parking spaces, and the driveway can hold over 2 cars, so roughly 3 cars.
Okay, so it sounds like we have the required 3, so do we still need the variance if he has 3 spaces? According to the agenda, there's only 2 proposed.
Madam Chair, I don't see, do we see Ms. Leonard online? That would be a question for her. I believe there is a little bit of a conflict when the bases are in tandem, when they can't maneuver individually. I believe that Building and Housing does not consider that a legal parking space. So if there is somebody online for Building and Housing that could help us a little bit with that, that would be great.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I do see Shannon Leonard online, and I will also mention this property is within the TOD zone, Transit Oriented Development Zone, recently passed, reducing parking minimums. So I'll let Shannon Leonard speak more to this, but depending on the time that a permit application was submitted, if it was submitted after the establishment of the TOD zone, it would not need to require a parking minimum.
Okay, understood. Shannon, are you there? Can you opine, please?
Yeah, this is Shannon Leonard. Can you restate?
Yes, sure. So we have an application for a variance where 2 parking spaces are proposed, when in fact 3 parking spaces are required. I understand that this property is in the TOD, but the appellant also states that there are 2 additional parking spots available that was not considered with the application. So we're trying to understand if he would actually need the parking variance, given his representation and also given the fact that it's in the TLD. You're on mute, Shannon. I'm not sure if you're talking. Shannon.
She's trying to unmute.
Can you send her a prompt, Xavier, by chance?
Yeah,
Oh, there you
here we
are.
go.
Okay. We still can't hear you, Shannon. I can see that you're unmuted though.
So Madam Chair, if we could get the City Planning Commission opinion while Ms. Leonard works on.
Okay,
logging.
yeah, that sounds good. I'll hear from you, Mr. Bay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just speak to the recommendation from city planning. We recommend approval for these variances. As the applicant mentioned, they're providing 2 means of access through the stairways to the front and rear of the property. The square footage of the property is already existent. We don't see any issue with recommending approval for these variances.
Okay, thank you very much. Shannon, I can see a little movement on your side. Are you able to unmute?
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I do see that Shannon entered a comment since it's in the TOD, no parking variance is required.
Okay, oh, very good. So that solves that. Any questions from the board? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, motion to approve calendar number 24-219 based on the city's recommendation in today's testimony.
Thank you very much. Mr. Madison, is there a second?
Member Roca, I second.
Okay, call the vote.
Ms. Holder?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-219 is granted. Will be ratified next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter, but he can contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Bryant. You are all good and free to leave. We're gonna now move to the next case on the agenda, which would be 24-190. And I'll turn it over to you, Ms. Holzer.
This is calendar number 24-190. This is at 3234 West 119th Street. Benrod LLC owner proposes to change an existing single-family residence to a 2-family residence in an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 6. This case was postponed from November 18th, 2024. Testimony was taken at that time. This case was postponed to allow time for the appellant to prepare updated site plans, submit an official survey, stake property line in 10-foot intervals, and for the appellant to meet with the Development Corporation and council member. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm testimony you are about to give is the whole truth, nothing but the truth, please raise your hand and reply with "I do," state your name, spell your name, and provide your address. Ms. Bush, I see you have your hand raised, so we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Bush, AASSANDRABUSH. 30, I'm at 3230 West 119th Street, and I do? Is that what I have to do?
Yes, that is correct. Thank you so much, Ms. Bush.
Thank you.
Anyone else who's here to speak on this case? I can't see your name, but I see your hand up. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Tony Jones. I'm representing Jefferson Puritas West Park Development Corporation. Tony, Toni, Jones, Jones, and I do.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jones. Anyone else who wishes to speak in this matter?
I'm here, Adam Burr, ADAMBURR. Address is 2032 West 105th Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44102. And I do.
Thank you, Mr. Burr. Is there anyone else on the call who wishes to speak on this matter? Any hands? No? All right, thank you. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll turn it over to you, Madam Secretary, for the straight of property.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This case was heard on November 18th, 2024. The official history of the property was read into the record. I could read that again if you would like. However, I should note that on that date, testimony was taken and the board postponed the case at that time in order for the appellant to submit an updated site plan, an official survey, stake the property line 10 feet intervals, and conduct a meeting with the development corporation and the council person. We have received documents late on Friday. We received documents that you've received this morning. And it shows a survey, an updated site plan, and I believe everything that you asked for is on those documents. Mr. Bay, I believe, has uploaded those documents as well into PowerPoint if you would like to see them. So if you have any questions or if you would like the history read again, I'm happy to do that.
Where do we want to hear the history? I remember this case. Okay, all right, let's go to the legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the minimum interior side yard, minimum lot size, minimum lot width, minimum lot square footage, and parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll now turn to the appellant who's here on behalf of Benrod LLC.
Hi, this is Adam Burr.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Bird. Go ahead and tell us what has happened since the last time you were here.
Since the last time we were here, we did the staking survey as requested by the board to clarify whether the fence to the right of our property, which would be at the top of this survey, was ours per the neighbor's request. You can see by this survey that that fence is their property. I did speak with David, who is the owner of the house there, and he was fine with that. That's what he thought, but he appreciated the clarity. And then Tony and I have also gone through this and discussed this as well.
Okay, and does what you've learned in this survey change your proposal at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay, anything else you'd like to add?
For those, I don't know if everyone was here or not. I mean, we bought this property as a two-family a few years ago. Apparently there was permits back from 1989, I believe, that were read into the history of that, that were approved back then for a two-family, for work on a two-family. So it's always been one. We are under contract right now to sell this property to a new buyer. If this doesn't go through, obviously that deal goes out the window, and I don't know what we do at that point. It would be substantially expensive to try to convert this into a single-family house.
Okay, so the last time you were here, we also discussed that you would meet with the Development Corporation as well as the councilman. Can you speak to that, please?
To that?
Sure, as long as Mr. Bird's comments, are you concluded, Mr. Bird?
I believe so, unless you need more from me.
Okay, all right, we'll go to you now, Tony. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I did speak with the adjacent property owners as well as Councilman Casey, who basically enlightened us and said that there will very soon be a zoning change to include this whole entire area as a two-family. It is before the Cleveland Planning Commission, and we're looking to see, I guess they're looking to have a hearing scheduled sometime in February. So I think the city is looking to have this small neighborhood zone to include two families. So hopefully that will help you out. And with that said, the councilman is in full support of the zoning change to two family.
Okay, thank you so much. We also have Cassandra Bush. Do you have any comments?
I think, yes, I do. I'm so sorry. I think the only thing that we were concerned about now with the two family is the parking situation, which they implemented in the thing there, parking. But the only problem is the driveway is severely damaged and very everybody bottoms out when they go in and out of there. So most people don't actually drive up it. So we're worried about parking. We don't have a lot of space on our street, and with a two family, that means potentially 2 to 4 to 6 people with cars.
Okay. Mr. Burke, can you speak to the parking arrangements for this two family that you may know of?
I mean, there's a driveway to the left of the property that, goes back to the back of the building. There is space obviously in the back here for cars to park, 2 cars specifically per the requirements that were given to us. Requesting us to fix the parking, I think would be unreasonable at this point. It's the middle of winter. We're supposed to close, assuming that this gets approved, the end of this month. It is built on a hill, so I don't know what we could do, what would be done differently to prevent cars from, I guess, bottoming out, as Ms. Bush just stated.
Okay, so according to your application, it states that 0 parking spaces are proposed. Is it your testimony that there are 2 parking spaces available at this property?
As you can see in this file, I believe you guys are seeing the same thing I am. There's 2 spots in the back that could be used for parking besides what's in obviously the driveway. Xavier was stating that, the parking spaces have to be, I believe it was 10 feet away from the building. So we're trying to show that we can, that there is enough space to do that.
Madam Chair,
besides what's in the driveway.
Madam Chair, if I could speak from a CDC standpoint, I did not go in the rear yard, but from what I understand, I guess there could have at some point in time been a demolition of a garage. The back area is not paved for parking. So I would hope that the new owner would take that into consideration. The driveway does have some cracks. I'm not that concerned about somebody bottoming out, but I am concerned that if there would be a number of cars parked there, I don't think it's a great idea to end up having them obtain or get a violation notice because they're not parking on a hard surface. So I don't know how we could get the new owner or have him notified that he would need to pave the rear parking area in order for him to be in compliance with the code.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
Chair, I'm curious as to whether that is required,
Please, you ask.
and this is to Mr. Bay or Ms. Leonard, whoever can answer that.
Thank you. This is Xavier Bay from City Planning. I would defer this question to Shannon Leonard, but I do believe if there's parking proposed, it has to be paved during service.
Shannon, is that your understanding as well? Of the park, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Okay. Are you asking about how where can they
So,
park on the lot?
Ms. Leonard, I'll make my question more clear. So in the updating drawings that we received from Mr. Burr, there are 2 parking spots shown. This is what's shown on the screen. But the testimony that we're hearing is that this isn't paved. So do these 2 spots meet code if they're unpaved? That would alleviate the need for a variance, or does Mr. Burr still need a variance because of the unpaved nature of these spots?
Whether it's paved or unpaved is not whether they need a variance or not. If it's stamped by an engineer showing the spaces, it doesn't necessarily have to be paved. It does have to show proper drainage on the lot. So it's up to I haven't seen the plans for building and housing, it's probably done by the residential plans examiner. Is this the parking, for residential is based on how many units unless they're located in the tier of these.
Okay, so we just received, these are stamped January 3rd, 2025, so they haven't been examined by building and housing yet, is that?
But that's correct, and we can't comment, I can't comment on what they haven't said anything for review through building and housing. Or a new site plan that hasn't been reviewed.
So if we
Once it's reviewed, we would be able to determine which variances are needed or not.
So if we are to approve these variances today, then this drawing will need to go back to building and housing to be reviewed. I mean, that's just standard practice. We don't need to make that a condition. That'll just happen, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if they are not located in a TOD zone and they do not have 30 parking spaces on site, this isn't very clear, this drawing here. There's no dimensions in terms of the size of the parking. I mean, obviously I can see spot 1 and spot 2, but there's more information that needs to be provided for me to make a determination on whether they still need that variance.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any additional questions from the board? I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move, based on the testimony that we've heard today, I move that we approve calendar number 24-190, noting that the appellant will have to submit the revised plans to building and housing for administrative review.
All right, is there a
Second.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Rocca,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, do you want to hold this, or is it just gonna go back to building and housing?
I think Ms. Leonard, that's the question I was asking. I think it automatically will go back to Ms. Leonard. I don't think we need to hold it. Sorry. She was asking. I know, it's not right.
Okay, so we don't need to hold it for any updated drawings. Okay, so calendar number 24-190 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send the appellants a letter to contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're very welcome. Have a great day, everyone. We're now gonna move to calendar number 24-180. Turn it over to you. You need to read the cases.
Our next case is calendar number 24-180. This is at 105 St. Clair Avenue. Family Love Enterprise LLC owner proposes to establish use as an event center in a G2 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the legal codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is none. This case was postponed from November 11th, 2024. Testimony was taken at that time. It was postponed at the request of the councilman to allow time for the appellant to meet with the community. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and provide your address. Do we see any hands raised? Mr. Bay?
I do not, I actually don't see an applicant either. The only participants currently online are city staff.
Do we have an appellant in this case? 24-180. Ms. Kukla, did we hear from the appellant?
No, we didn't have any emails as of this morning, phone calls.
Madam Chair?
Do we want to give an opportunity for them to appear? Can we hear all?
I can give this to my administrative assistant and have her reach out. Okay.
All right, can we address our business while we wait for that?
Good.
Right. Looks like we have numbers 2 and 3.
Without objection.
Without objection.
No objection.
Objection? All right, so those are confirmed, and we have upcoming postponements, it looks like.
Yes, Madam Chair. Both of these cases are scheduled for January 13th. The first one is calendar number 24-159 at 2380 East 40th Street. This is regarding a decision to board up a property located at that address. The appellant stated that he needs more time for discovery, he stated. So he has asked for 2 months. That would be approximately March 24th.
Okay, no objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Okay, so the next one is 24-213 at 3275 West 117th Street. This appellant is proposing to change use from auto body and print shop to auto rental and minor service garage. The councilman reached out to us requesting a postponement to allow time for further review. And so in this case as well, we could give it 2 months. That would be March 17th or the 24th. We were not given a time frame from the council.
Okay.
1 month would be approximately February 17th or February 24th. I apologize, the 17th is President's Day, so that's not on its.
Okay. So then the 24th it is, it sounds like.
24th of February, or do you want an additional month for March?
Let's do March. I think community meetings will take some
Great.
time.
Right. So calendar numbers 24-159 and 24-213 are postponed to March 24th. For the record, new letters will go out to the appellants as well as the neighbors, notifying them of the new dates. We do these advanced postponements sometime to let the community know not to come down to the hearing on Monday. So we'll be sure that a letter goes out.
Perfect. Okay. Objection Mayor, that concludes our own business. Did we hear at all from someone at Family Love Enterprise LLC?
If you would like, I can go back and check with the administrator.
Okay.
Madam Chair, is there anything we need to do with the affirmations to be?
Yes, I think we covered that or no. Let's check the sheets back on.
Madam Chair, staff was able to get in touch with the appellant. She is requesting a postponement at this time as she has been unable to contact the councilman and or get together for the community meeting that was asked for at the last hearing.
Okay. So maybe we put this one on the same 60-day shortening court. Figure that time.
Yes, so that would be March 24th or the 17th.
Good, we'll postpone calendar number 24-180. And back to the old business, there are 2 affirmations. Do we need to vote on those?
Oh, yes, it's without objection. If anybody has any objections, please let us know, but it's just like ratifying resolution.
No objections.
No objections.
No objections, so it's confirmed. And that concludes our business for today. We're gonna close the meeting, adjourn the meeting. Thank you. Have a great day. Official.
Gavel.
There you go.